All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a classic Grimm's fairy tale, The Goose Girl. And let me tell you, this story is just packed with everything: loyalty, some seriously cruel deception, and a form of justice at the end that is, well, you won't forget it. So I want you to think about this for a second. What if everything about you, your identity, your voice, even your whole future was just stolen in a flash? We're about to jump into a story where that exact nightmare becomes a terrifying reality for a young princess, right at the start of the biggest journey of her life. Okay, so our story kicks off with a princess's journey. She's got a loving mother, a trusty horse, and a really long road ahead of her. You know the setup, right? She's a beloved princess, and she's been promised in marriage to a prince who lives in this kingdom that's super far away. Her mother, the old queen, is getting her all ready for what's going to be a pretty life-changing trip. So her mom sends her off with some pretty incredible parting gifts. We're talking vessels of gold and silver, the whole royal dowry. And she gets a chambermaid to keep her company. But listen to this. Two of these gifts are, well, they're basically magical. First, a talking horse named Falada. Yeah, a talking horse. And second, this little cloth that has 3 drops of her mother's own blood on it. This is supposed to be this super powerful charm to protect her, kind of like a symbol of her royal bloodline. But here's the thing. All the goodwill and even magical protection in the world, sometimes it's just no match for plain old human cruelty. The princess starts her journey, but man, it becomes obvious real fast that this chambermaid she's with is not a friend. The first red flags start popping up almost right away. And this brings us to the Great Betrayal. This is all about how power can just completely flip on a lonely road. You know, what's so wild about this story is how fast it all goes south. It literally all starts when the princess is super thirsty and just asks for a drink of water from a stream. And the chambermaid just looks at her and says, "If you are thirsty, get off your horse yourself. I won't be your servant." I mean, can you believe that? The nerve? This is so much more than just being rude. This is the first real act of rebellion. It's like she's testing the waters, seeing just how much she can get away with. And right there, that's the moment everything changed. The princess, being so humble, she gets down to drink right from the stream. And as she does, that protective cloth, the one with her mother's blood, it falls out and just gets swept away, gone. And the chambermaid sees it happen, and she knows. She knows that the princess's one piece of real protection is gone for good. So, with the princess totally vulnerable, the chambermaid launches her takeover. It's a ruthless plan. First, she asserts her dominance by refusing to help. Then, she totally exploits the princess's weakness the second the charm is gone. She forces the princess to swap horses and clothes with her. And for the final step, she makes the princess swear this deadly oath under the open sky, which is like an unbreakable vow, that she will never, ever tell a single soul what really happened. So when they finally get to the palace, the true princess arrives looking like a servant, and the false one arrives as the bride. The prince, he comes running out, and he's so happy to see the imposter. He just sweeps her up and takes her inside to be his wife. Meanwhile, the real princess is just left there, alone in the courtyard, in rags, completely forgotten. It's just heartbreaking. So this is where we get into the secrets of the Goose Girl: a hidden queen, a talking head, and some pretty magical hair. This part of the story shows us that even though she's been brought so low, the real princess, she still has this kind of magic about her. The old king, the prince's father, he sees this beautiful but really sad-looking girl from his window, and he ends up giving her a job helping a boy named Conrad take care of the geese. But the false bride, she's already scheming. She's terrified of being exposed, and she knows there's one witness left who can talk: Falada, the horse. So she's got to silence him. She goes to the prince and lies, saying the horse was a pain on the journey and that he has to be killed. She's not taking any chances. When the real princess hears this, she's absolutely heartbroken. She finds the guy whose job it is to do the deed. And she secretly gives him a piece of gold and asks him to do this one very strange, very sad favor for her: nail Falada's head up under a dark gateway that she has to pass through every single day. And this is where things get really poignant. Every day she passes, she looks up and says, "Alas, Falada hanging there." And the head speaks back to her, "Alas, young queen, passing by, if this your mother knew, her heart would break in two." It's this incredible, heartbreaking moment where even in death, her loyal horse is the only one who still knows who she really is. Meanwhile, out in the fields, the Goose Girl's magic is still there. More strange things start happening that just scream royalty. Like when she lets down her hair, it's like radiant, pure gold. Conrad, the goose boy, he's totally mesmerized and tries to grab a couple strands, but she just whispers a little rhyme, and a gust of wind comes out of nowhere and blows his hat clear across the field. So she's all calm and mysterious, and he's just getting more and more angrier and confused. All right, this is where the plot thickens. The king's investigation. So after dealing with all this weirdness day after day, Conrad the goose boy has had it. He storms up to the old king and basically says, "I'm done. I will not work with this girl anymore." And the king, instead of just dismissing him, gets really curious and asks, "Okay, tell me everything." So Conrad just lets it all out. There's a horse's head on the wall that talks to her. Her hair is like gold, and when I try to touch it, she says a rhyme, and the wind blows my hat away. I have to chase it while she just calmly does her hair. I can't do it. I mean, you can imagine, right? Any other king would have thought this kid was nuts. But this king, he's one of those classic wise rulers. He hears this and thinks, there's something more going on here. And he decides he's going to check it out for himself. So the very next day, the king goes into full detective mode. He hides behind that dark gateway and he hears it. He hears her talking to Falada's head. Then he follows them out to the fields, and sure enough, he sees it all with his own two eyes. The golden hair, the rhyme, the magical wind snatching Conrad's hat. Every single crazy thing the boy said was true. So that night, the king pulls the goose girl aside and gently asks her what is going on. But she can't tell him. She's still bound by that unbreakable oath. She tells him, "I am not allowed to tell you, nor reveal my sorrows to any human being, for I have sworn under the open heaven." She literally cannot tell another living soul. And this is where the king proves how clever he is. He comes up with this brilliant solution. He says, "Okay, fine. Tell your sorrows to the iron stove." It's an inanimate object, right? Not a human being. It's a perfect loophole. So she agrees. She actually climbs inside the stove and just pours her heart out, telling the entire story of the betrayal, all while the king is on the other side of the wall, listening to every single word through the stovepipe. Genius! And that brings us to the final act, a tale's savage justice. We're at a grand feast now, and the king, who knows everything, is about to orchestrate the most masterful reveal you can imagine. So, picture this. The king gets the real princess all cleaned up and dressed in royal clothes and has her sit right next to the prince. The chambermaid doesn't even recognize her. Then, after dinner, the king tells the whole story, but he frames it like it's just some fairy tale he heard. And then he turns to the false bride and poses a question. What's the right punishment for a traitor who deceived her master? And the chambermaid, totally arrogant and with absolutely no clue she's talking about herself, just blurts out this horrifyingly brutal sentence. "Oh," she says, "she deserves no better fate than to be stripped naked, placed in a barrel studded with sharp nails, and dragged by 2 white horses until she is dead." I mean, wow. And the king just looks at her and says, "You are the one, and you have pronounced your own sentence." Just imagine the chill in the room at that moment. And with that, her treachery is revealed. Justice is served exactly the way she herself said it should be, and the true princess is finally reunited with the prince. So the princess marries the prince, and they go on to rule their kingdom in peace and happiness. But it leaves us with this really interesting question, doesn't it? In a world of silent suffering, does true justice always need a loud voice? Or does it sometimes just need a really clever listener? It's a powerful reminder that even when betrayal tries to silence you, the truth has a funny way of being heard, especially if someone is wise enough to pay attention to the whispers.